So really, like, at the end of the day, who is it? Who is it that we're telling the story to, and what is that story? Like, if we don't really take the time to analyze and see the story that we're telling others and that we're telling ourselves, we don't know who we are. Truth be told, most people live out here telling stories to themselves and one another that they wouldn't choose to be their story if they had the choice. Now, what does that mean? Well, you look at most people, and they're always giving you some sort of excuse, some sort of something that alleviates their reason why something isn't so beautiful in their life. Oh, my dad did me like that. That's just the way I was raised. Can't get past it, right? These are the stories we tell ourselves. These are the things that we tell ourselves that really that's just what it is. We tell ourselves that because of our own experiences, because of our own emotional reactions to our life, and the ones that we hold on to, most importantly, that is what becomes our story. The way we choose to articulate that, right? And again, it starts early on. It is our parents' job. It is the people who bring us up. It is their job, most importantly, to help us build the connection between the right side of our brain and the left side of our brain. Right side being emotional, left side being logical. Kids start out mostly right side brain. It develops very quickly, very much quicker than the logical side of the brain. What parents do is they help us integrate it. They help us build the bridge. They help us build the bridge between our logical, understanding mind and our numbers-based mind to our right-sided, emotional, feeling, creative-based mind. Without this proper pathway, this bridge, this neuronal understanding, we don't articulate our emotions very well. And as you guys know, we are emotional creatures, obviously. We're an emotional creature. Our body feels emotions, right? There's no way around that. It's actually a beautiful thing. So if we're not taught and we don't understand, we don't learn on our own how to articulate those emotions and connect the two, many times we're lost in one way or another. We're lost in every way in a lot of situations. Because at the end of the day, we are, again, emotional creatures. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. What does that mean? Well, that means the observer is what we are. The body, the emotions, the thoughts, that is what we observe into reality. That's quantum, right? So when we come to the idea of how it is for parents and how parents are meant to raise kids, truth be told, and what science is telling us nowadays, or the past 40 years probably, that pathway that we build, it is integral to someone's success overall, someone's mindfulness. Why? Because it is in a direct correlation to their communication. It is in direct correlation to how they articulate themselves. Just think about it like this. A kid is born, a child is born. If any of you are parents, you know how this is. They are emotional. If anybody's been around kids, it's easy to understand. Kids are emotional, and that's okay. It's a great thing. As they grow up, as they develop, they go through different things. They go through different walks of life, different experiences. That's what we're meant to do, is help our kids experience, right? In those experiences, we guide our kid to articulate and understand and logically understand the experiences that they have. They're not all going to be pretty. In fact, there's going to be tons of ugly ones, and those are the most important to help the kid understand. But what happens a lot of the time? Well, a lot of the time, let's take us back 100 years. Times is hard. Kids is working in factories, right? Just the whole nurturing, loving, building the pathway, it's all bullshit, right? Because kids are working in factories. They're getting fingers cut off every day. It's terrible, atrocious. But money's being made and the economy's great, and so things are changing. Things are heading to where they're at now, right? But in those hard times happen. That's what those kids dealt with. That's what those parents were living in, and that's what it was, right? So fast forward 50 years, those kids are now 50-year-old parents, and the same ways they were not built that bridge, they're then passing down to their kids throughout their lifetime, and it trickles down. Sometimes it gets worse when you bring in the idea of vices and using substance to avoid these emotional blockages and emotionally dissonant situations within our mind and the way we feel. That is when things get even uglier, because then we bring into something such as substance, something external, something outside of ourselves, something that was not naturally there, something that's outside of the ecosystem that is our right side and left side of our brain. And this just inevitably makes more issues because we're avoiding it. We're avoiding building that connection. We're avoiding looking at all of the trash on the bridge, the trash in the water. So anyways, time goes on, those kids learn to do better in certain ways, and in certain ways they don't. And again, it's passed on. This is what happens. This is how trauma is passed on. We don't look at it. We avoid it. We use substances to avoid it, and we avoid those ugly parts of ourselves. And when I talk about avoiding the ugly parts of ourselves, it's not to say that you need to feel bad because there's ugly parts of you. That might be your instant reaction. In fact, that's my instant reaction when I first heard those kind of ideas. It's about embracing the ugly sides of yourself. It's about, first of all, understanding those ugly sides so you can see where they come from. Because true love, true gratitude, is seeing the fault in others as imperfect perfection. You see, when you start to realize that everybody is just another human, everybody has their own plethora and multitude of life experiences that they learn from in one way or another, and everybody has something you can gain from and learn from, you start to see things in a different light. You start to respect and appreciate time spent here more so. And this helps you understand the notion that success is subjective. Success is not just money, material means. No, success is subjective. It is based on what you believe success is. The hard part is that most people base their idea of success on what everybody else's idea of success is. We follow the masses, we follow the herd, we follow the tribe. We don't want to break out of the tribe because there's something deeply human and survival about staying within the tribe so we don't die. But things are way different nowadays, once again, than they were even 100 years ago, let alone 1,000, 2,000 years ago when we were more tribe-like in a lot of ways. You see, we get stuck in that human animal. We get stuck in that side of ourselves that doesn't, it's stuck. It's stuck in lack. It's not in tune with the spirit. It's stuck in survival. Which, don't get me wrong, is an incredibly powerful, adaptive system that we are as humans, and that's why we've thrived as much as we have, because we are adaptable. But we have to be willing to understand that we got to respect both sides. There's a spiritual side and there's a human side. There's a body, a physical side. And if we don't respect that physical side just as much as we respect the spiritual, or vice versa, we're going to run into a plethora of issues. We're going to run into issues that we think and we're told to medicate, to use substances, to use external things to fix. When it all starts within, brother. It all starts within. It is all based on our internal world. You see, everything is just us pushed out. This whole room that I'm in right here, it's all, in my mind, it is what I know it to be. This energy drink that I'm drinking right here, it is a energy drink that I like to use to get on camera and shoot more footage, make more content, do whatever, work more. To someone on the other side of the country, that's like devil juice. They hate that stuff. To someone on the other side of the world, they think they don't even know what it is. This computer that I'm on right now, it might be the world's nicest computer to someone in a third world country. Whereas on the other side of the country, they look at me using this 2013 MacBook and they'd have something to say. Everything is just us pushed out. The way I look at my dogs, the way I treat my mother, the way I talk to my wife, the way I look at this water bottle and love to drink it, it's all subjective and based on someone else's experience, or based on my experience, and it's completely different than someone else's experience. So everything is just us pushed out. So when we really begin to understand that and embody it, we learn how to take full accountability on a different level. Because if everything is just us pushed out, that means that even the ugly things in our life are us pushed out. And that means that I'm creating the things I don't like very much. And that might hurt. That might be hard to accept early on. But the thing is when you accept it and when you move into it and when you decide to cross that fucking line, everything changes. Because then you get your power back. Then you're back in control. You are back in the driver's seat. You are back in the control panel of your life. The observer is back in control rather than just your body and your humanistic physical reactions to the world. Based on what everybody else thinks, based on how everything else feels. But we got to take that time for us to see and understand and take a step back from what it is that's going on in our life. You see, we're back here. We're meant to be back here. Most of you guys are right here. You're merged together with life, with everything that's going on. And don't take this the wrong way. You're meant to be present, but you guys aren't present. Most people aren't present. I was not present. There's times where I slip up and I become not present, and I have to ground myself. You see, because we're not meant to be like this with everything that's going on. We're meant to be back here. It's not meant to be. We just are. We're back here. But you see, this is the physical. This is our body. This is our physical understanding of life, and our physical body's a representation of everything. And so being mindful is expanding that gap. Being mindful is developing the awareness and the observer, or returning more so, returning to the observing state. Quantum physics, it tells us nowadays, it's proven, this is mysticism proven in the present moment. Quantum physics says that electrons are observed into reality by the observer. The wave collapses into reality, into material, because of the observer. Let me say that again. And it sounds very simple, but go look it up. They're going to explain it a lot better than me. The observer collapses material. The observer observes energy into matter. Everything is energy. Everything is us observing it into reality. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand the provocations, what that means? It's okay if you don't, because it takes some time to understand. I've been spending a year or two understanding it myself, but it's the entire, everything that people have been talking about for years and years and years. Mysticism has been talking about it for years, hundreds of years. Neville Goddard talked about it in the 50s. Living in the wish fulfilled, being what you want to manifest. It's not the law of attraction, it's the law of assumption. Both are, those are synonymous or whatever. Law of assumption means I'm just assuming it's already my life. Quantum physics verifies what, it's a little scientific proof for the people who are deterministic out there, which our society wants you to be more so nowadays than ever. It's deterministic, the understanding nowadays that what Neville was saying back then was real. So, take the time, my friend, take the time to understand what you are collapsing. That's the thing. Like, I may say this and it may sound abstract and not real and whatever else, but here's the thing, big dog. You have to take into account that you don't know what you are manifesting. You don't know what is so strongly wired into the fabric of your being because you haven't looked at it. You haven't looked at it your entire life. You may have had glimpses of it. You may have thought about the thing that caused it 100 million times. But you haven't taken the time to feel it out. To feel it out and let it come out. Because truth be told, our inner child just wants to be felt and heard and understood and held. Those deep emotions that you felt when you were young, that you didn't get to express, nobody heard you, nobody held you, you can still hold you. In fact, that's what those emotions, that's what that inner child wants the most. And that's what allows you to let it go so then you can become anew. Because before we let it go and become anew, it's still a part of us, whether we know it or not. That's that subconscious wiring. And so when we let that energy out, and we express it back into the world, and we decide what we want to be internally first, or secondly, after we've let the other ugliness go, and accepted it for what it is first, but let it go after, and then we choose what we want to be, and we move forward into that, and we choose moment by moment, that is when we begin to have quantum leaps. In those moment by moment consistent actions upon that new image, that new identity, that new self-understanding. My friends, if you can wrap your head around this early on, you can move the light years ahead very quickly. But it takes true, consistent work on understanding yourself, understanding who you are truthfully. Because nobody can do it for you. You wouldn't want anybody to do it for you because it wouldn't work.